Things are not good for Democrats. They got worse over the weekend, and they are only continuing to get worse.
He made news last summer when he wrote a pointed essay calling on Joe Biden not to seek re-election on account of his age.
Looking back on that, happy you did it?
Yeah. I'll make it kind of easy. I was raised to tell the truth. I had seen the president up close for this fundraiser, and I was surprised. And so I feel as if there was a lot of profiles in cowardice in my party.
And I was surprised? You were surprised, George? Well, maybe it's time to diversify what you're reading a little bit and what you're watching. Of course you were surprised if you spent the last 4 years exclusively and entirely watching CNN and reading the New York Times. Guess what? You end up like George Clooney when you do that. You have no idea what's actually going around in Washington, and millions of people who had no idea that there was anything wrong with Joe Biden. People didn't think there was a problem. They thought we were crazy at Newsmax to suggest that maybe the wheel's turning, but the hamster's not doing so well when it comes to Joe Biden. Then he debated Donald Trump. And despite what we've been saying for years, people started to get it. They were like, oh, there really is a problem. The New York Times with this headline over the weekend. Again, this weekend. There is a way for Democrats to stop Trump and save America. Save America. Save America from what? And that's part of the reason it's so bad for Democrats right now. They think that America needs saving. What they don't realize is that America was saved on Election Day in November, on the 5th. Al Sharpton, writing in The Guardian over the weekend, in these dark times, Americans must harness the power of the civil rights movement again. Al, what are you talking about? Just like George, what Al seems to be missing is that for more than half the country, these are not dark times. They are the exact opposite of dark times. Joe Biden, for millions of people, will always represent a very dark time in this nation's history. I don't think it represents a light time or a good time for anyone, not even Al. He got a pay cut at MSNBC. Right now, Democrats are not happy with Donald Trump's approval rating. 2 months into his second term, it's at 51%. Joe Biden left office, that number was at 35%. But Democrats are still acting like it's 2008 and Barack Obama just won.
Would you like to see her joining the Senate?
Right now, we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
No, I asked you.
Okay.
You want to do nonsense, do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
No, fine, but I don't want to talk about this. What was the last question?
I was just going to ask you one more question about you.
How pathetic is that right there? Bernie Sanders is a senator and he doesn't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. That'd be like working at a zoo and not wanting to talk about the animals, okay? He didn't want to talk about AOC, which is apparently controversial to Bernie because Bernie knows that if he says, yeah, I think she's got a bright future in the United States Senate, that means that his old friend, Chuck Schumer, is no longer going to be a senator. Guys, this is what's going to happen. AOC is going to run. She might win. I don't know if she can win statewide in New York. I don't think so. But Chuck Schumer's days in leadership are over either way because what's happening right now. None of that should be controversial. Those are just facts. According to Axios, it's even worse than we ever imagined. Top Democrats tell us their party is in its deepest hole in nearly 50 years, and they fear it could actually get worse. Take a look at this. The party has its lowest favorability ever. No popular national leader to help improve it. A minority on the Supreme Court. Dwindling influence over the media ecosystem, which you just saw right there with Bernie Sanders. And young voters are growing dramatically more conservative. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but the numbers are stunning. And a, quote, bad 2026 map for Senate races for Democrats. So what's the answer? How did Democrats come back from all this? Here's another headline from the weekend, NBC News. The Bidens want back in. Joe and Jill Biden have offered to jump in and help with fundraising and rebuilding the Democratic Party, confirming what we have known all along about Joe and Jill. Not only are they completely out to lunch, they think they matter. Not still matter, ever mattered. They never mattered. Their egos are so big that they think right now they can save the party that they just destroyed. And the craziest thing about all of this, everything I just said, is that Democrats are so desperate right now, they might actually let Joe and Jill get out there and do it, which is very good news for Republicans. We'll keep an eye on that for you.